What's going on, everyone? It is the day after the election. Donald Trump is president of the United States, and social media is imploding. On this episode, I'm going to talk to you about why Vine failed, why Twitter is currently failing, and why Snapchat is destined to fail. So let's get right into it. Doing a little something different on this episode, and instead of answering your questions, I'm going to talk about something that's been weighing on my mind. In fact, I recently wrote a blog post on my website, carlosgil.biz, entitled Rest in Peace Vine, or RIP Vine, What's Next for Social Media Storytelling? And over the last couple weeks, I've been involved in a lot of different chats with you guys, the social media fam, and including in my own group that I manage on Facebook, Social Media Masterminds. And let's face it, social media networks, regardless if it's Vine or Facebook or Twitter or what have you, they all have a very limited shelf life. And the reason why is because of the demographic that's using them. Let's analyze where Facebook was just 10 years ago. 10 years ago, Facebook was very similar to where Snapchat is today. It was a social network predominantly used by college students. In fact, you needed to have an email address for a university to get onto Facebook when Facebook first started. Very similar to Snapchat. A lot of people back in the day, a lot of adults, when you would ask them if they were on Facebook, they would say, no, I'll never be on Facebook because my kids are on there. Very similar to what you hear today with Snapchat. And what happens as audiences evolve and they grow up? The platform changes. The demographic and how that platform is used changes. And that's what happened with Vine. Vine, I'd like to say, is the godfather of social media storytelling when you really think about it. Without Vine, there would be no Snapchat. There would be no Instagram stories. We would not tell stories on social media like we do today if it wasn't possible for that 6 seconds that you would use, that micro 6 seconds that you would use to tell this really funny or amazing story, again, in less than 10 seconds. So where I'm going with all this, and again, I'm going to refer back to my blog post that I wrote, and I'll drop a here in the description. If you're watching this on YouTube, I'll drop a link in the comments as well as in the description below so you can read that. But where I'm going with all this is if you are a creator, a brand, an influencer, or just someone who's using these social networks, you should not be married to the social network because the social network does not make you who you are. At the end of the day, you cannot and you will not be able to build a mansion on rented land, which again is something that I refer to in my blog post. And what I mean by that is you really need to look at these channels as just that. They're channels. They're tools to broadcast. The same way that right now I'm broadcasting in a studio to create content to then put on my Facebook page, on my YouTube channel, I am using social networks as a channel to broadcast outward. Where I'm going with all this, again, if you are a brand creator, influencer, or just someone who's out creating content, is look for ways that you can take the content you create on these networks and put it on your own domain, on your own website. Example, I recently rolled out a new website, which is carlosgil.biz for this simple matter, which is tomorrow, Snapchat could go away. What am I gonna do? Well, in my case, I've spent 8 years building a personal brand on LinkedIn, on Twitter, and now that has transitioned over to Snapchat. I'd be fine. And the reason why is because I've spent years now cultivating relationships and building these relationships that if one of these social networks go away, I can just jump on to the next one. And I, as a creator or as a personal brand, don't necessarily go away. And we're gonna see this happen, unfortunately, guys, eventually with Twitter. So you look at a platform like Twitter and let's face it, the Connor Blakeleys of the world, I had Connor in one of my earlier episodes of Real Talk, the Connor Blakeleys of the world, the 16, 17, 18-year-old kid is not seeing as much value in Twitter as they are seeing it on Snapchat. So what happens to a social network when its demographics start to top off? And when that social network doesn't start to grow, well, the social network dies. And we saw that happen, guys, with MySpace. Think of all of you out there that jumped from MySpace to Facebook and never looked back. That's what's going to ultimately happen with Twitter. So if you're sitting out there today and you're thinking, oh my God, I'm investing all this time on Twitter, don't look at it as a bad investment of time. Look at it as you're using the tools and the infrastructure in the way that's intended to be used to continue to grow your brand and in the meantime, drive precious clicks over to your website. And this leads me to my next point, guys, which is around Snapchat. Yes, I love Snapchat. No, I'm not going anywhere. But when I see one of the biggest stars to arise from Snapchat in Shonduras, who just recently came out and created a very heartfelt video, which you can see right here on YouTube, in which he's talking about how Snapchat is not giving back to its creator community like, say, YouTube does. That's a problem. And when the creators, who are the ones that are bringing the fans and the viewership to your network, start to go somewhere else, guess what happens to your platform? It starts to lose value. Because whether it's Snapchat or Facebook or Twitter, this is no different, guys, than cable TV broadcasting. The social networks are cable TV networks who are trying to get viewership. And guess who's bringing the viewers in? It's not Coca-Cola or Nike. It's you and it's me and it's Shonduras. So a wake-up call to Snapchat. Look at what happened with Vine. Look at where Twitter is going. Look, however, where YouTube is going, where you have content creators like Sean, like myself, like others that are now investing time in YouTube for a variety of reasons. One, it's easy to find content. Two, you can actually monetize the content you create. Granted, for someone like myself, I'm not gonna necessarily get rich and pay all my bills because of Google ads and profit sharing that I make on YouTube. But you look at someone like Casey Neistat and Shonduras, who are getting hundreds of thousands and in some cases millions of views on their YouTube content. Absolutely, you could probably pay a car payment or at least make a mortgage payment over time with that ad revenue that you generate. So where I'm going with all this, guys, goes back to my earlier point. Don't be married to the channels. Be married to the game of marketing and really look to use these channels as a way to continue to build relationships and grow your personal brand. And just know, they could go away tomorrow, but you as a brand, an individual, creator, or an influencer, you continue to live on forever. Thank you so much for watching this episode. If you enjoyed it, be sure to give me a thumbs up. If you're watching this on YouTube, be sure to subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it. I also have a new website, which is carlosgill.biz. Be sure to check it out. Sign up for my all-new newsletter. It's carlosgill.biz. Sign up for the newsletter. Join my VIP list. And I will see you on the next episode of Real Talk. And before I sign off, I just want to give a shout out to the fine folks at the NASDAQ Entrepreneurial Center here in San Francisco for hooking me up and letting me use this beautiful space that I'm recording from. Be sure to check them out on Twitter at @TheCenter. Until next time, see you on Snapchat. Peace.